Hi, this is Karen Colville. I just wanted to let you know that I have recently, just within the past 16 hours, released a video that is a studio production. So, for the past year, I joined Beatport and I've been creating electronic music. And with the electronic music, it is more a Euro dance music. So I've got into this kind of DJ vibe with my creativity. I still do the occasional country song. I haven't done jazz or blues in some time. So I've been kind of exploring different genres without having to risk too much and to seeing how far my vocal capabilities can go and my writing capabilities can go. So, in the past couple of years, I was very seriously ill and I've been unable to do stage performance. I think it would have been a disaster and a catastrophe to bring me on stage because I had such serious physical challenges at the time. And I'm still very hesitant about wanting to go on stage again, mostly for the reasons of my energy levels and what I can and can't do live. So I decided to get look more into studio production because I've been doing studio production my entire life. And I decided that I wanted to experiment with new tools. So in the past, when I modeled, and that was around 2009 when I started, we used everything, any tools that were available to us. So I trained in Photoshop then, but I found Photoshop to be very complex. So I tried different things like Adobe Illustrator to enhance my photos. And then we went, but not too much. I tried to keep it as realistic as possible, and sometimes a photographer and I would kind of get into a few talks about, oh, well, you're starting to get wrinkles. Should we leave them in or take them out? And stuff like that. So most people, they won't let the model age because they're selling a product and they're trying to sell a vision with that product. So they don't allow aging. And I think when you're selling things like skincare, you really should sell things that the product works on, and very few do. So I'm not trying to digress too much. So I really thought it would be interesting if I wanted to go into animation, but I found that was not as user friendly. So I started recently experimenting with editing with AI, and I found with my actual photographs, the AI was stripping off my features and replacing it with some sort of pixels or something, but it looked weird and it didn't look like me anymore. So I decided to stop utilizing some of those enhancements tools, but I've been learning different enhancement tools with AI. So it's like I can get more precise, just like Photoshop. If there's flaws, like say there's a blemish or there's a wrinkle or whatever I want to get rid of, I don't have to be 100% authentic. Some people just, they find my image too enjoyable to look at, and other people's no. But I won't go like the multitude of women that are making a lot of money online. They have all done cosmetic surgery, and I'm not going into that. I'm an artist, I'm a creative person, and I don't feel that I need to alter my image that way. So I can technically alter my image. It's just like when you go into a recording studio and your voice is a raw file, the same as a photo, and they can either doctor it up. I've went into the studio where my voice has been completely changed 100%, where you don't even recognize it. So it's like I say to the producer, I say to the engineer, I want to keep my voice, my natural voice, for performance. And so what the engineer has done is sometimes tweaks my voice. Well, sometimes adds a lot of reverb and this sort of thing. And these are all studio tricks to be able to get a polished audio sound. And that audio sound is comparable to other artists that are played on the internet or on radio. So I went through all this and struggled through these changes and whether I should use AI, and then slowly, because AI can alter your images to such extremes, you don't even recognize yourself as human anymore. So I've used it in very limited, like really small steps as to what I want to do with it and where my limits and my safeguards are with AI, because I'm still very skeptical with it. But the thing is that any new tool, at first, there's hesitancy, and then you try a little bit more, but some people do a deep dive right into it, and I'm not one of those kinds of people, especially when it comes to my work. I've tested, you can see one of my paintings, that's an original painting behind me. I've tested AI with my paintings to say, what could you do with this painting to make it better? And typically it doesn't. It changes the whole idea or concept of what I input into it. So really, when it comes down to it, yeah, I'm excited now, because when I was in the music industry in the 90s and the 2000s, I went to many music conferences, and I talked to some of the broadcasters about doing a music video. And the costs then, way back then, were to start was $30,000. And it's like, okay, I've already paid for all these courses to be part. I've paid my membership dues. I've paid all this stuff, and I got very little in return. I would go in front of committees, and they would say, well, as a professional, oh, you need more work. So I go back to the drawing board, and it would cost and cost and cost. And I found, whatever income that I could get in or support that I could get with people, even by donation, was taking too much. So I found the machine of the music industry, for me personally, was, even as a developing professional, it was too demanding and so out of reach. So I decided to stay independent all these years and do my own thing. And, I'm recognized, but I don't make hardly any money or any money as far as it, because the costs are so expensive. And then also too, there are artists that, let's just say, like, once they sign, they give up. Sometimes they give up their creative rights. Sometimes they give up any kind of control over their image. Like, everything is packaged and that image is controlled by that company in which they sign with. And some take on independence and they sign them, but they own the rights to your music. So it gets very complex, and that's where you need an entertainment lawyer. So I found, like, I don't want to go through all this. I'm at a level where, yeah, I'd like to make a little bit more money. But however, at the same time, I'm limited, for the past couple, like, I've done festivals before and done small music appearances. And then when I got really ill, there's no way I could get on a stage and perform. I just didn't have the energy. I didn't want to pass out on stage. I didn't want to have an accident on stage. So I just thought, there's no way. And so I had to back down from any local opportunities even. And I just, like, I've had enough, because it's just so draining of my energy. It takes so much to do all this. You can't believe the incredible amount of work that is involved in music production and in the arts. It's just all the stuff that you don't see that goes on behind the scenes. It's very time consuming. And at the end, all that work that you put into when you see that final product, whether it's a music clip or a painting or a video or whatever means that you use, or a film, a little 5 independent, film. Hey, that's a big accomplishment just to even be able to pull that off. So, yeah, it just came to the point where I just thought, hey, I'm not able to do this, but I still have a small people. I don't call them fans. They're just people that appreciate my music, and they also appreciate my creative work. I have collectors of my artwork. I've been involved in numerous organizations and charities with my artwork and making a difference in the world. So, and really, art has helped me during my recovery process as well too. So I've expressed it. I thought, well, I can't go out and do this, but a DJ in Europe will pick up my music and play it at a club, and I think, hey, that's cool. At least I've done that. I can be part of what the very limited of festivals, or even the underground scene is very limited, because since COVID, a lot of clubs have closed down, especially in Berlin. So the thing is now it's like, oh, we can have private parties. We can make our own music and do our own creativity. And, not all of us get to be big name artists or international artists. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm still getting my music out there. I don't have to go out and do the performance grind. It's just too hard on some artists. It actually, you get worn down with exhaustion, and you can become very ill, and sometimes you just can't come back. So when I remember, I always think of Prince because of all the crap that he dealt with when he was with the majors and he did his own thing. And then when he wrote Slave on his cheek, it took me the longest time to get that. And then I finally figured it out as an independent. And I thought, yeah, be free. Just keep doing your own thing. You might not make as much money or any money as comparison to a lot of what major signed artists make, because they're in multi-million-dollar contracts where, there are a lot of people that benefit out of the same pot. So, my team is very small, and I like to keep it that way. I keep your enemies close to you. I'm kidding. No, but really, it's like, it's a team effort. It's not just one person. It's the artist and who backs that artist. So yeah, and a lot of things I just like to do on my own. I don't care if they're crappy. It's like and it may not be crappy. It could be something that's really polished and really good, but it's bare bones, and sometimes that's all companies really want. So it's the aesthetic, but I've been more experimenting with, there's nothing wrong with experimenting with AI to see what you can come out with. Just don't lean on it 100%. You can use it 10, 20% and just leave it at that. So that's what I'm finding. So yeah, and those enhancements really help because I'm aging. Like a lot of musicians, they get into their 60s, 70s, even up at, I think Paul McCartney's in his 80s now, and they're still rocking the stage. They're still able to do it, but not everyone can. I know one guy, he had a stroke on his stage and he passed on the stage, and at least he died happy. So I thought about holographs and the expense of holographs in music. I saw holographs way back in the early 90s when I was in art school. There were holographs presented then. I thought, oh, wouldn't that be cool with the music artists? And then they came out in England with the ABBA tribute in the UK that, it's just a holographic experience, but it's like reliving that performance. So, music itself lives on forever, and some people, they enjoy a holographic performance. So this, in a sense, it recaptures a little bit of the beauty of my youth. I still kind of look the same. I've just aged, that's all, and aging is human. And like, again, I'm not going under the knife just so you can find my appearance, whatever standards of attractiveness people have, and people have different ones. Some people like the big lips, some people like the polished faces and the eye makeup and whatever. And no, I don't want to go there. That's who I am. So anyway, yeah, but I am excited. I'm now on VEVO, and this is a huge deal just to see, because I've kind of scratched and clawed my way through exiting the industry and being a part of the industry as a contributor, and then also still creating music, which is cool. Like, I try to create music as long as I can and enjoy it. So more so too, I hope you enjoy my kind of version of myself, which is Karena the DJ. That's my other character. You could call her an avatar or whatever, but it is based on real photos that is of me, but it goes back a bit. So, and that's okay. That's something that you would put on an album cover or a video presence cover, other than using the natural person. Like, I've used paintings on some of my music covers too. I use music to enhance some of my artwork. So it all depends on what I'm using it for, but I'm still using it as a tool. And I'm it's great to see young people are like, I used digital tablets at one point, and I still do a little bit of that. So whatever tools you have in your toolbox and you can combine things like collage, you can combine art, you can combine photographs, film, all kinds of things. And so more so, yeah, it's great to see all these advancements come out, and we're still being creative, and we make very sometimes little money at what we're doing, but we enjoy what we're doing. So if you want to call it professional or a hobby or whatever you want to call it, but I'm still working in the professional realm. I've been in the industry for over a decade, and I've worked with many people in the music industry as well too. So I'm still keeping up my momentum and creating art and just doing my thing and enjoying it. There's a lot less financial pressure. I don't have like $30,000 to $100,000 hanging over my head in order to be able to do one music video. That's just insane. But at one point, when television and music channels were the only medium, if you wanted to play, you had to pay very hard, and a lot of artists would go into debt into their labels, and then they'd end up going bankrupt as a result, or somebody else just owns them and enslaves them, and that's not cool either. So, and music changes so much. I'm thinking Napster in the 90s and all that stuff. So, like, it changes and shifts so dramatically. And as artists, we need to adapt to the tools to be able to keep up, because a lot of people in the music industry also own AI and AI music production. There are a number of different companies owned by major label artists. So the new artists that are coming in, they may get access if they are selected as being part of that. So, but the lion's share typically goes to the corporation. And so, more if that artist does really well, they've invested a lot into that artist. They want that artist to succeed because they succeed as a corporation and as a business. I get that part. So if you're unsigned, you're kind of screwed over. Like, there are very few things that you can do. So I like being independent. I like creating art, and however you want to view it or criticize it or whatever you're doing with it, I just hope that you can appreciate what I'm doing and enjoy it. for what it is worth. Some people know there's a lot of people that go on Spotify and they listen to 60s and 70s music because it was music in its pure form. But not all performers last forever. We're human beings. We are, essentially you're considered as a product, but you're still a person. So you can only do it for so long. And some still keep doing it, but they experiment. A lot of artists experiment in different formats to express their art. And you can see that throughout the history of music. Anyhow, I'm going on too long. So I enjoyed this little chat today, and I hope you have a good one and you enjoy the video. Thanks kindly. Bye.